Hi, I'm Edward Kieshel, and this is my wife, Angelica Kieshel, and we are owners of Eka Build. And we are here at the Lake Erie Beauty. We are super excited, about to give this home over to the wonderful clients, the Campbells. And they've been phenomenal to work with. And we're almost there in a few days.
Yep.
And we just wanted to have this little dialogue.
As we wrap up the house.
Wrap up the house
share.
and just kind of go back and forth with just different things that either happened or we focused on, or just to share with the audience here. So just doing this little dialogue. So first question, I guess, what is one detail that kind of stands out? Not necessarily your favorite detail or anything like that, but one thing that like, hey, I really like this, I want to share about it.
From the very beginning, one element that was important to incorporate with the vision was because of the location. So that's the lake. So being able to incorporate Lake Erie into their build, whether from aesthetics and details, but also with the view. And so that's one detail that I absolutely love. Like anybody that comes, it's like, wow, the view, it's phenomenal.
Sure.
And so it was very intentional with the architect. They did a great job incorporating large windows and things like that throughout various areas of the home.
And an open concept. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, of course that was important, those types of things, but my mind, a lot of times it's going to be going to, hey, we're on the lake, crazy conditions. And so like, okay, how do we have to do anything different? What do we have to do? I mean, there's definitely different things. We're not going to build the same on the lake as elsewhere. And, also code-wise, it's not, we're in a different exposure, those types of things. So that's where my mind goes. So I'm just thinking through those details and what else we have to do, and we can kind of get into some of those.
Can you share some of the details that we had to do?
Yeah. So one thing that we don't necessarily always do, just a lot more sealing of the exterior. So we're normally we're caulking all the windows, all the seams and everything like that with tape mainly, and usually using caulking and tape for the windows. But over here, we actually ended up using liquid flashing. So we caulked in the windows, and then we liquid flashed all around the flanges, the nailing flanges. Another detail that we ended up doing, as I was thinking through, and just wind, because as we get a sideways wind and rain kind of towards the house, there's been documentation that the wind-driven rain can actually go towards the house and then actually go up the wall, right? When it's that bad of a rain. So one thought I had was that, okay, we're gonna put underneath the windows, we actually put like flaps that go down below. So if it is hitting that, it's actually gonna get stopped as it goes up 6 inches. So we kind of had all these flaps below the window, and then we also put in spacers underneath the nailing flange. I know maybe not everyone's catching what we're talking about, but this is
lots of details.
Yeah, it's a great detail for the homeowner, longevity of the home.
Yep.
So if there is, it's not always necessarily keeping the water out. Of course, we want to do that, but you can't always do that. And if the water does get in, which most of the time, as the experts talk about these things and they test and they see different homes and buildings, it's how are we letting the water out? And so we have done that. With this house, and also we pitched all of the windows and all of the sills out away from the house. So if there is some kind of water that's getting in, it is going out, right? And so that's, in my mind, those are one of the things that's important. That's what we did.
Yeah. So one other thing I would like you to talk about is what you did with the sliding door. So there was a lot of effort put in behind the scenes with the sliding door, above and beyond what was normal.
So one of the things, even though we have retractable screens here, so if it's really getting a lot of
we have retractable screens, which is great, and that's right before the sliding door. So technically you should have some coverage, but not necessarily, especially with the lake effect, possibly.
The veranda is sticking out, so there's a decent amount of protection from the elements and everything. But again, so we dropped down the concrete to be a little bit lower than the sill of the door. But then also with the sill itself, we actually ended up dropping the sill, the depth of the subfloor. So it's the subfloors there, and then we dropped that sill. So if there is any kind of water, it is actually lower and it's draining away from the interior. So we did a liquid flashing detail there, so it's completely sealed, not just tape, but it's completely flashed in that way with a liquid membrane. And then we still do the regular detail of a whole bunch of caulking, so on the bottom of the sill. So really we shouldn't be ever seeing any kind of water. And then there's also a performance upgrade with the sliding door. So what that means is that it can take a lot more pressure, it can take a lot more issues of weather on the door itself, and then everything should be performing quite well, and we just won't have any issues with the weather.
Yeah.
Yep.
So very cool.
Yeah.
One of the things I also wanted to point out, not related to engineering details, which are very important, is our awesome clients. And we always love our clients. It works out. And one of the reasons, though, is because of the trust. So we talk a lot about our process and the steps that we do, the dialogue that we have with. So we have steps on our website, things like that can explain further. But basically, our steps are pretty simple. But a part of that is that our core values. And so just like we want the clients to trust us, we also trust them in a sense. So anyway, this client came in with that, and from the very beginning trusted us. We saw their vision and we understood it with Pinterest boards and just the design aspect of things. And we were there with them along for the ride the whole time. And so working with the architect, we were able to make sure that their vision was brought to life. If we saw something, there actually was something in the very beginning. The architect did a great job, but at one point when we were doing the exterior elevation, the very first exterior elevation was far from what the client had really envisioned, and we caught that right away, and so did the client, but they were hesitant if they were accurate or not, and so we just made a slight comment.
How do we maneuver that? We're not super happy with it and everything, but anyways, we had to have a conversation and talk to the architect and say, hey, we're not necessarily super happy with everything.
Yes.
But,
so again, we were there to assist.
It came through at the end, and it's a phenomenal design.
There's a lot of details on the exterior and the interior that the architect did do. So being involved and being able to ensure the client was beyond thrilled with the product is always fun. And so I don't know if you have anything else to say as far as architecture.
One of the things, not necessarily architecture, but comes to my mind is as far as to do the process, and again, there's so many steps. There's so many different things, but one thing that comes to my mind is we have a decision file, and that really guides clients through what decision needs to be made next. And again, we want to, the client hired us to build a home, and there's a certain amount of decisions that we're going to make, or we're going to keep the clients out of it because that's
we know what they want, and if we don't know, then they're being asked.
And so kind of that decision file is super helpful. And these clients here too, which will have a testimonial of them talking about the process and how everything went super smooth from our steps with us, with the architect, with the interior designer, and then finally finishing.
Landscaper. The landscape design, pool design, all of that. Again, we are a part of it in order to ensure that the final product is what they want, and kind of guiding that whole process.
And really got phenomenal results.
Yeah.
What's one interior design thing that you love in the house?
The light fixtures.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot I could say a few different things. Sitting here, I'm looking at the great room built-in, and I see the beautiful lights in the great room built-in. That was phenomenal. It's hidden and it's tucked away. It's really nice detail. But I really like the light fixtures. There's a few different ones with the beads. There's the seated glass ones in the kitchen that are actually one of my favorites, light fixtures.
It's right behind us.
Yep. So I think that is probably one of my favorite details is the lights, the jewelry of the house.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
but I might change my mind. Okay. What's yours?
One thing I like that was done in the kitchen, and you can see some of it in the background, is the riffs on white oak. I mean, it really just, our cabinet guys did a phenomenal job. The interior designer selected that. And actually, just that tight wood grain, and that it just looks sleek and modern. Yeah, but at the same time, there's definitely traditional elements to it. I really loved how it came out, and just kind of the two-tone kitchen. So
yeah. So Eddie, A question for you. What makes this home special to you?
Yeah, really, I mean, so the build is the build, the design is the design, and all the different things. But what always stands out is that the client. I mean, for sure, working with them. Actually, we had an enjoyable time. We can go and have a dinner and hang out and talk and actually
tease each other over text messages.
Teasing each other over text messaging on a home build is like, I mean, I don't think that's really...
So their friends would ask repeatedly, like, did you get to a stressful situation yet? And don't get us wrong, like, we're not perfect. There's going to be mistakes. Sure. Fixes have to happen. Yep. But basically, like, their friends and family would be like, all right, has it gone downhill yet? And thankfully, like, it really didn't. And that's typically our experience. But again, we're not perfect. It's just that, hey, let's have that trust. Let's have that process. Let's have that communication. To make it fun and enjoyable.
One thing that comes back to me, I guess, as far as how can we ensure that, and thinking back, and it's always like, for me, I mean, I always want to put myself in the client's shoes, like, hey, when I send out an email or I send out a text, or hey, there's this happened, right? How are they gonna take that, right? How are they gonna experience that? How are they gonna feel about that, right? So that's one thing, and I would say being sensitive to that, again, we're never going to get it perfect. And it also depends on the client and everything like that, like how sensitive they are about things. But again, if there is things going on behind the scenes or whatever, we like to just be upfront about it. We like to be transparent and open, like, hey, this happened. Like, either we didn't figure that, or hey, we totally messed up. I mean, we'll be the first ones to say, hey, we messed up on this. How can we work together? How can we fix this thing? So, or we're just, hey, we got to work through with the clients and everything like that. So
there was 2 different times the client shared something that I wanted to share. One of the times the client was working with basically with someone else for a different type of project or whatnot. And basically they came back to us. We were having one of our bi-weekly calls, and they shared how much basically we spoiled them. I can't remember their exact words, but they're like, man, you guys have spoiled us by the way you treat us, by the way you've taken care of us. And so now they're dealing with someone else for something different, and they're like, it was a terrible experience. And so they're like, man, you've really spoiled us, which was great. Like, they should be. It's a huge investment. That's how we feel. Another thing that the client said is basically when we kind of go through the initial dialogue and discovery phase, that's the first step in our process, is dialogue and discovery, getting to know us, getting to know the client, if we're the right fit and so forth. We had made a comment I think in an email that basically one of our past clients had said that, hey, I don't need any more friends. They're older. They're like, we're done having friends, but it was a joy for them that they have 2 new friends. Like, the process ended on a friendly note, like we're friends to this day. And so that was in one of our emails, and this client for this home said, hey, I remember that comment, and obviously it stuck with him, wondering if that would be the case or not. And he was happy. He's like, yeah, that totally like makes sense now. And great. So that's what we want. Like, we're not out to just make a quick buck or whatever. Like, it takes a lot of sweat and time to do what we love. Yeah,
we're in it for the long haul.
And so if we need to fix something or this or that, then that's what we're doing. We want to make sure the client's happy. So, but that was really cool to hear from the client.
Yeah. How is it working with interior designer?
It was a joy. So for this home, we partnered with Laura Yeager-Smith Home and Design. Her and her team were phenomenal. They did the interior selections, and then on top of it, this was a separate agreement between the client and Laura Yeager as far as doing some interior home finishings. And it was nice because Laura was able to really see the client's vision and bring it to life. We were still involved, but it was more if the client needed a second opinion or just wanted to confirm something, we were there because we understood the client's vision. They wanted us involved the entire time. And so really there weren't many changes, I would say. If anything, we still, because it's a lot to take in. And so the client was like, agreed to things, but then she couldn't always remember what she agreed to or what she approved. And so going through our decision file was kind of like, hey, we're finalizing the countertops. Was there any changes? Like, this is what we're doing. Hey, the paint was selected. And so there was like some paint changes, but it was minor things. But again, it was there was a huge backbone there. It made it so much more enjoyable for the client, again, to trust our process, trust the designer, and it just, helped with all of that to flow. So yeah, it was wonderful working with the designer.
Yep. Great.
So overall, all of this is because of the client's vision.
Yep.
They obviously found the property that was perfect for them, and they had the vision of incorporating the lakefront, of the window views. Like, yes, the architect, interior designer, us, like we all came along, but it all stemmed from their vision and having this excitement to make it happen.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, like the clients are the heroes, right? I mean, they're able to, we assemble the team and help them and everything like that, but really it comes down to them, and it was great and exciting to work with them, and we really appreciate the opportunity and to be part of their life. I mean, this is, they're going to make great and amazing memories here, and we're glad that we can,
We're very thankful,
kick it off in the right direction here with a great solid build.
Yep.